hospitals, but then as a private hospital, we plow back into our communities.
When we started in 2006, we were only 36 nurses. Now, when the hospital started growing, a number of nurses also came to join us, and we are now, I can confidently saying that we have got a number of 98 registered nurses and 27 enrolled nurses.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Isai Sipunga. In the news tonight, environmentalists demonstrate against Recon Africa's oil exploration in the Okavango Basin. LGBTQI community march for equal marriage rights. 8 Tsumeb police officers under investigation for brutality. UNAM contributes to fight against COVID-19 with science and research. And Roundup, Comments Corner, Business on One, Sports and Weather. Now for the news in detail. A group of activists peacefully demonstrated around Windhoek CBD in solidarity with the inhabitants of the area where Recon Africa plans to conduct oil exploration activities. The group says they won't stop demonstrating until the Canadian oil and gas company cancels the arrangements. The activists fear that the oil exploration will disturb the wildlife as well as the indigenous people inhabiting the area. This isn't the first protest against the oil exploration in the Okavango Delta. Other environmentalists as far as South Africa and the US have expressed displeasure.
Today, we are that small group of people starting a national movement. What we will do from here is circulate the petition for all Namibians to sign on. The world is waiting for today. The Canadians are ready. They're already marching against Recon. It's their company. The British are ready. They are just waiting for the message from us. What are Namibians demanding? Up till today, we didn't know. But from today, we know what we are demanding. We are demanding a moratorium on all oil and gas activities by Recon Africa in the Kavango East region. And we are calling for a public inquiry, a full public inquiry with participation from civil society organizations and experts. That message is going around the world in the next hour, and people are going to start signing our petition. We are not alone.
Hollywood actor Leonardo DiCaprio is rumored to have tweeted against the drilling plans. The real environmental worry, according to reports, is that the rivers and watercourses of the Okavango Basin fit into the Okavango Delta in Botswana, 1 million+ hectares of spectacular beauty. This complex ecosystem is considered one of the 7 natural wonders of Africa and a World Heritage Site. The protesters fear this could be a thing of the past.
communities such as those in the Kavango West and East are the ones that are going to suffer the most. Not the parliamentarians who are enabling this company. It's the communities themselves, right? Because they depend on the life systems of the Kavango Basin. So oil drilling oil is dead. It's already declining. People are investing in renewable energy. We are seeing that Anglicans and faith institutions are basically de-investing in fossil fuel industry. So we ask, why is this company still chasing after oil, and why is our government enabling this addiction to oil, right?
Kavango is a very sensitive area. It has so much animals, so much people that live off it. And we are saying, no, we don't eat well. We know that these are very highly skilled jobs. They're promising jobs to our people, and we know that they will not get. It's almost bringing the contract labor system back just to show as if they're giving jobs to the people, but they are really not giving jobs to the people. All of that, and Namibia owning 10% means nothing.
They are trying to take the water that our mothers used to clean our clothes. They're trying to take the water to wash our fruit. They're taking away the water that washes our body. They're taking away the water that feeds my soul. They're taking away the water that uplifts me, us, you, my mother, my grandmother, your grandmother. Save the Kavango Delta. Don't oil drill. We've seen what Recon Africa has done in other countries. Do we want that to happen in Namibia? No.
Anglican bishops and archbishops have reportedly also signed a petition insisting that the Namibian government halt its plans. The group won't stop protesting until their voices are heard. The lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender, queer and intersex community marched to the High Court ahead of their court case for the legalization of equal marriage rights. Human rights activist Philia Nangolo said that the Namibian community that consists of 95% Christian is not ready to accept same-sex marriages. Leston Voller has this report.
State-sanctioned homophobia is our founding father who fought for liberty, equality and justice. Go onto a mic and tell Namibians to deport, imprison, harass gay men just because of who they love. State-sanctioned homophobia is tearing families apart, making children, Namibian children, stateless for 2 years just because of who their parents love.
Human rights activist Philia Nangolo believes that it is time to decriminalize homosexuality.
That there is no problem with the decriminalization or legalization of homosexuality, particularly because homosexual acts must be conducted in privacy, just like all other sexual acts. So it is really irrelevant to keep it criminal. It has no effect whatsoever to prevent something that actually does not exist. Our statement also says that we do not believe that same-sex marriages, or I can put it this way, we do not believe that our society, which is about 95% Christian, is ready to accept yet same-sex marriages, because these are conducted in public, unlike the sexual contacts that I was talking, homosexual contacts that I was talking about earlier. Same-sex marriages are solemnized in public, and this can lead to public outrage.
Mercedes, who was also protesting for equal marriage rights, said that everyone has the right to get married to whomever they love.
For anybody that has ever found or experienced or felt love, that thing where you want to, like, I want to spend some time with somebody and make that the thing. The traditional thing that we know as Namibians know, which is marriage and family. So the one thing that we have been advocating for, because we're done fighting, is to be able to be afforded the opportunity to have a marriage or a wedding, and to be able to set up a family unit. And I think today is especially important in that the recognition of family units and family setups that do not conform to the traditional way of how things are experienced in Namibia is not something that we can other. It is something that we have to embrace because, it's about really allowing people to also celebrate their love and celebrate their families as they are also seeing fit, and opening up Namibia to the diversity that it's always been.
The case for same-sex marriages is currently before the High Court in Windhoek.
8 Tsumeb police officers have come under fire after a video was circulated on social media showing bruises of 2 inmates from the Tsumeb police station holding cells who were allegedly assaulted. Residents have called out the act, noting that it's not the first time that they have been subjected to police brutality. Please note that the following video could be sensitive to some viewers. Samantha Poppy reports.
One of the residents, Kathleen Lowe, gave an account of when her son was brutally beaten by police officers, noting that police are there to enforce the law and not to abuse people.
Die polisie gekom om hulle te kom stil te maak. Maar ek meen om te kom stil te maak is mos nie 'n probleem nie. Die polisie doen hulle werk reg, maar om te slat hand aan te sit, dit is nou teen my. Want toe voel my kind ook nou nee, dis nog aan toe. Het hy die glas wat hy gehad het hy met die glas het hy vir hom geslat, ook teruggeslat. En toe het hy 'n merkie hier by die oor gehad. En toe maak hy my so 'n sak. En my kind het ook 'n sakloop gemaak en die sak is nog aanhang. Nou sien ek weer gister 'n video wat die jongens in die tronk geslat is. Maar ek weet nog nie wat hulle gedoen het nie. Maar al het hulle iets gedoen. Die wet is daar. Die magistraat is daar om vir hulle te charge. Die polisie is daar om net hulle se werk te doen, vir hulle te vang en klagtes te maak teen hulle. En dan moet die judge mos vir hulle mos nou, nou word hulle gestraf met die slat en dan moet hulle nog weer van die judge ook nog gestraf word vir wat hulle gedoen het. Ek dink is nie regverdig nie. Die storie met regverdig, ek is nie teen die polisie nie. Glad nie teen die polisie nie, want die polisie is daar om vir ons op te pas.
Explaining the incident, Police Chief Inspector General Sebastian Deitunga revealed that the brutality emanated from a cell search for contrabands conducted by the Special Reserve Force. He notes that the 8 officers involved have now been charged.
In the process, some of the inmates overpowered the police, and one of them ran out from the cells toward a dustbin. He picked up something from the dustbin, and when the police came to him again to rearrest him, they find out that in the plastic bag there was a bottle of whiskey. And what happened is that they took him to the cells, and from there, later on, 2 inmates, probably including this one, were taken out from the cells somewhere nearby the town of Tsumeb outside, and it's where the incident of assault had happened. The 2 victims, those 2 victims that are inmates in that cells, registered the criminal cases against those police officers, and these police officers were charged and taken to court. As we are talking now, they are at court, but only 7 who are at court, because the 8th one, I understand, is sick. He will be taken to court as soon as he is able and fit to go to court. I also dispatched a team of senior officers, one from headquarters here and the other one from Oshakati, to go and monitor and supervise the ongoing investigations so that we go to the bottom of this case.
Ndetunga further condemned the act, appealing to members of the law enforcement to exercise patience, professionalism, and avoid using maximum force regardless of the level of provocation.
Sometimes inmates, they become too violent, attempting or assaulting officers who are searching the cells or who are feeding them. But it did not appear that this happened in this case. This case, there is no indication that the inmates were too violent to the extent that probably minimum force should have been used, except this one who ran away and then later was rearrested. So even at the highest provocation of the inmates, our members are trained how to handle calmly and they use the minimum force to neutralize those who are trying to probably assault police officers. So our training manual is very clear, and this incident really is outside of the established policy and code of conduct of police officers.
As the government continues with efforts to overcome the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, the leading local higher education institution has been playing a supportive role in the field of science and research to better understand and identify the virus that threatens the lives of Namibians. Hendrina Kanyolo has this report.
The University of Namibia hosted the COVID-19 vaccination campaign on its main campus this week in support of the national drive to vaccinate and protect as many Namibians as possible. Led by the Vice-Chancellor Kenneth Matengu, students and staff received their jabs as he explained the pivotal role that the university has been playing in the fight against the pandemic that has so far taken over 700 lives.
When COVID outbreak was declared, this country didn't have a single lab that was testing for COVID. And as a university, we also put resources and networks together. And we are one of 8 in the country now that are testing and diagnosing COVID. We are not just saying you are positive or negative, but we are also analyzing the different variants and be able to tell, is there something new that is happening? As you know, there's the South African, the British, and the Indian variants. And we are studying these. Our scientists, Dr. Nepolo in particular, is heading this particular lab. But besides the antigen and the PCR tests that you may do, we are also making other research. It was in the social media sometime last year, but now I can confidently say we are more or less sure, and we will be releasing some reports about using dogs. The Beagle dogs is what we are using. The precision of those, just from a swab in your armpit, the dog will smell it and it will tell whether you're positive or negative. That's part of the research that we are doing together with Finland and France.
Matengu further said that they are studying indigenous plants to figure out whether they can be used as herbal remedies to boost the immune system, enabling it to fight off the coronavirus. With a medical school in Windhoek that trains health professionals for the country, Matengu said that Namibians should take the virus seriously.
In this scope of things, we are also looking into our indigenous plants for herbal remedies. In other words, which plants are effective as a therapeutic treatment for things like COVID. Most important, of course, is developing immunity. So those immune booster herbs, we have done some work around that, and we will continue to do so as we explore. Those are some of the things we're doing.
He further urged UNAM students to get vaccinated as they might soon reopen and welcome them back on campus as the institution starts with face-to-face classes.
Namibia is bleeding women and children no longer feel safe in the land of their birth. This is not due to war, but due to gender-based violence perpetrated by mostly men. This call is to our fathers, brothers and sons to unite against gender-based violence. Let us come together and say a big no to gender-based violence. Together, we can build a safer and better society for all. My Namibia, my country, my pride.
Hey, this is Script, and you can catch me on One Africa TV on Sundays at 8 p.m. as we chat to Namibian changemakers, innovators, entrepreneurs, and doers who are changing the game. 99 FM Game Changers is supported by Paratus. Limiting potential is not an option. Think big.
It's Spar Rewards winner card time, and you could be turning your shopping into one of 50 limited edition Hyundai Grandai 10s. Plus, get incredible deals like Husky canned dog food for just $20.99 and Pampers Baby Dry Nappies or Nappy Pads value pack for $159.99. Remember, every participating product you buy gets you another entry to win when you swipe your Spar Rewards card. Spar Rewards winner card, now on.
In other leading stories, FNB, through the First Rand Namibia Foundation, donated 150,000 Namibia dollars to the Edulation program for the 2020-2021 year. The corporate social investment manager, Rivonia Kavihere, expressed her excitement over the success of the program. The project runs a foundational numeracy catch-up program for primary school pupils from grades 4 to 7. Since it began in March 2019, according to Kavihere, the number of pupils increased from 665 to 3,360, and even in 2020, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, 4 more centers opened, 3 in Rehoboth and 1 in Groot-Oop. Head of Marketing and Communications at Edulation, Mike Clark, said the events of 2020 tested its adaptability and resilience. He says despite the schools being closed for nearly half the year in Namibia, learners showed an annual average rate improvement of 71% toward the end of December 2020, while 12% showed an annual rate improvement of more than 100% numeracy. Edulation's mission is to ensure learners enter high school with a solid foundation that will drive them towards science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This, he says, can be achieved by providing opportunities to learners to master essential numeracy skills that will help them become self-directed and confident, thus allowing teachers to deliver the curriculum. Additional objectives of the program are to reduce unemployment by providing jobs for young people to become coaches. And Old Mutual has been ranked 10 strongest brands of 2021 by the Brand Finance Report, as well as in the top 100 most valuable insurance brands globally. Old Mutual remains the only African insurer in the authoritative annual report compiled by the world's leading brand valuation consultancy, despite dropping from 4th to 9th place. Ndangi Katoma, Executive Marketing Communications and Customer Strategy at Old Mutual Namibia, says the world's top 100 insurance brands lost nearly $30 billion or nearly 6% of their total brand value because of the impact of the global COVID-19 pandemic, adding that they are humbled and encouraged for being able to preserve notable brand strengths and value.
Winter is here. Let's warm you up by giving you a chance to win one of 12 gas heaters and accessories or a grand prize of 50,000 Namibian dollars. To enter the Winter Warmers competition, simply buy any combination of 2 or more of the following participating brands: Baker's, Five Roses, Fresh Pack, Frisco, or Hug in a Mug, and SMS Winter to 445. And remember to keep your till slip as proof of purchase. Promotions run from the 1st of May to the 31st of July. For more information and entry details, visit 99fm.com.na. T's and C's apply.
Are you a CMS member? With HospiCash 100, you can get up to 100,000 Namibian dollars cover with a 30,000 limit per event from as little as 100 Namibian dollars a month. We understand that being in hospital can be stressful. That is why with HospiCash 100, you can cover your non-medical expenses by receiving cash payouts when you are in hospital, so you can recover stress-free. Interested? SMS your name and HospiCash to 555 and we will call you back.
Great combo deal from Choppies! Choppies, great value for your money.
Joseph Shifeni standing by for today's Business on One and economic indicators.
Welcome to Business on One. I'm Joseph Shifeni. Job Amupanda, the mayor of the city of Windhoek, announced that the city of Windhoek will not avail the 24,000 service plots that the government aims to deliver by the end of the second phase of the Harambee Prosperity Plan. Amupanda delivered the statement at a recent stakeholders meeting on land and housing delivery targets of the HPP2 that took place at the Namibia Institute of Public Administration and Management, NIPAM. Joseph Ilonga has this report.
The city of Windhoek would not make plots available for Harambee Prosperity number 2, because if we make the plots available for Harambee Prosperity number 2, we'll be setting ourselves back in terms of what we want to be able to achieve.
The mayor of the city of Windhoek explained that although the city will not directly make the 24,000 serviced plots available as required to achieve the targets of the HPP2 on delivery of urban land, housing and sanitation under the third pillar, the city is however prepared to assist the government through its own interventions in order to address the housing backlog, especially for the urban population.
We indicated that we will not make plots available for Harambee Prosperity Plan, but we are prepared to assist. Now, the city of Windhoek shares the 36% of the urban population. So we created a formula and said, if 36% of the urban population is in Windhoek, what contribution can we do as a city to achieve first the 24,000 service plots that the HPP2 wants to target? We would say, okay, 36% of that, you do a formula against the 24,000, it will mean 8,640 plots in 4 years. By implication, it means 2,160 plots per year in terms of that. Of course, we have now decided to change. We have given land to this ministry, to that ministry, and they are sitting on the land. We have now decided to recall the land that we have given. They have not paid it. They have not done anything on it. So some of those land will be recalled. We recall the land and then we tell the minister, Minister, we now have 20 hectares of land available for you in Ochomise. It's only the police that, when we told them that we want to recall your land, the police have now started doing presentation. They brought the architects to the cities, and they don't want that land to be taken. But we intend to take most of the land that we have given, and people are not doing anything. Then we give to the minister who's practical, who wants to do something substantive.
Desiree Matthias, the presidential advisor at the office of the president, said that although the 24,000 service plots seems to be an underwhelming figure, the figure is informed by the available resources and time frame needed for the delivery of urban land, housing and sanitation by the end of the HPP2 period countrywide.
We are well aware that the 24,000 sounds underwhelming, but it's an informed figure, informed by the resources available, but also responsible with the time that is available in order to achieve this. During HPP1, a significant success was the decongestion of the process to delivering land. We decongested Napa, which is now regional and decentralized. The frequency of those meetings is happening, and local authorities are able to avail land more frequently and to the quantum required. The key now would be unlocking the financing instruments for local authorities to be able to service the land and to achieve those sales. You have heard from the minister's statement that the subsidization of local authorities has come under pressure, and we are really going to need innovative models for funding in order for local authorities to access the financing required.
The main towns targeted to benefit from the 24,000 service plots as envisaged by the HPP2 are Windhoek, Walfish Bay, Otwea and Farm 37, Ochivarongo, Gobabis, Enana, Ongwediva, Ondangwa, Oshakati, Grootfontein and Rundu.
Thank you for watching Business on One. Join us again tomorrow, same time.
Now a look at Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from the hottest social media pages. The Ovaherero Traditional Authority is not pleased with the rumored deal between the Namibian and the German governments on the reparations for the Herero and Nama genocide. The Ovaherero Traditional Authority wants to be part of the negotiations as a direct representative of the victims of the genocide. Viyama said that he supports the unity amongst the affected communities and that they must be included in the negotiations. Vivian said only the Ovaherero and Nama should be included. The rest can offer solidarity. Willem said the government is eager to enter agreements where Herero and Namas died for the country but exclude the groups from veteran status. Absai said that other traditional leaders should also join the delegation of Namibians that are negotiating with the Germans. Sporer said that Namibian government has failed the affected communities. Absai said the last Ombanu king never returned from Ocho during the time of the German imperial rule. And that's all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today on One. Time now for today's sports update with Chairo Musiandaka.
Welcome to Sports on One. I'm Chairo Musiandaka. At a meeting this week to discuss the rising calls for the Tokyo Olympic Games to be cancelled, the International and Japanese Olympic Committees informed the Namibian Olympic Committee that this Summer Games will still proceed. The Secretary General of the Namibian National Olympic Committee, in an exclusive with Today on One Sports Desk today, confirmed that the Tokyo 2020 Games, which are scheduled from July 23 to the 8th of August 2021, will still take place. Castro Olumbo has more on this story.
Despite protests reported by the international media in Japan of locals calling for the cancellation or postponement of the Tokyo Games due to the rise in COVID-19 cases in the country, the International Olympic Committee, together with the Tokyo Olympic Committee, held a meeting to pronounce their position on the safety measures that will be taken at the Games.
To be honest with you, we are not aware of any protests, not in Tokyo. I was in touch yesterday with the Tokyo Organizing Committee. There are no protests going on in Tokyo. The objective, of the IOC was always to organize safe and secure Olympic Games, and they are working very closely in partnership with the Japanese government and the Tokyo Organizing Committee. The IOC President Thomas Bach yesterday said with just 65 days, in fact today is 64 days to go until the opening ceremony, the IOC are now very delivery focused. The athletes from all around the world are grateful to Japan for their diligent preparations and are looking forward to safe and secure Olympic and Paralympic Games where these athletes can finally shine. The president of Japan then also said the purpose of the COVID-19 countermeasures is twofold. In Japan, and number one is to provide a safe and secure environment for athletes and Games participants, and equally important for the safety and security of the people of Japan. So the Games will go on.
As the countdown to Tokyo 2020 continues, Namibia has so far 8 qualified athletes for the Games and 6 more athletes are yet to compete at the qualifiers. The country will also be represented by teenagers Christine Boma and Beatrice Masilingi in the 400 track event, who are both in the top 5 fastest runners in the world and only left by Shonei Mela Uibo of the Bahamas.
Very proud to say that we have our 8 confirmed places already. We have Hilalia Johannes and Thomas Reinhold for marathon. Then we have Beatrice Masilingi, and Beatrice is of course 200 meters and 400 meters sprint. Christine Mboma, 400 meters sprint. Jonas boxing, 63 kg category. Then we have our cyclists, Dan Craven road cycling, Vera Adrian road cycling, Micah Dickman rowing. And then of course we are very confident that we will also secure the quota places for mountain bike. The athletes who will then represent Namibia will be Michelle Foster and young Alexander Miller. We are extremely proud of these athletes. because, regardless of all the circumstances around the world, they are training extremely hard. They are physically and mentally, ready and prepared for the games and those for their qualification events. These athletes are training between 4 and 8 years to qualify for the Olympic Games, because it is a tough one, to qualify for Olympic Games. And for us, it is, number one, to assist them and live their dreams as athletes, but also, then secondly, to go out there and, present and represent the country, with pride. They are indeed our Namibian pride, and they are the people, who are our, export marketing tools to put Namibia on the map.
The games are 64 days away, and as the opening ceremony approaches, the NNOC urges the nation to support and rally behind the athletes.
That's all we have for you. Join us again tomorrow for Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Back to you, Isai.
Thank you, Chairo, for that update. Time now for the weather forecast. First, an advisory from the Met Office. Cold and rainy weather is expected in the south. The interior will be partly cloudy and cold in the Karas region with a few showers. Elsewhere, partly cloudy and mild to warm but hot in places in the north. The coast will be partly cloudy and cold to mild with showers in the south. Wind will be moderate to fresh southerly. Now a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond. That is all from us this evening. Tune in again tomorrow at 7 p.m. And don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. From me, Isai Sipunga, and the rest of the Today on One team, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future. A hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. The future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, you benefit from them and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business. I take 2 of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old. They were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future.
My first memory of going with my dad is that I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palamba. So I decided to go for tour guide studies. Because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything, to bring that experience to the tourists. You can see the hyena. The biggest changes, I was employed, getting paid, and also I can now support my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Treverfontein, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities and wildlife, is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palambach, and Palambach is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free-roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife, and it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see it continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
Turn conservation into a rural economy, turn conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an unfenced area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well, the lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
devastating hit over coronavirus fears. Airline industry is facing its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit Namibia, things actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, say the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poaching. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now it's our chance to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars, and then we sell them for the rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2 Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar, using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bar was made, and I think it was 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person, saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I picked up my phone and I phoned Mark Law. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but we've got the fund already ready for you. You just have to apply, put a proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 25, 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to help people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, integrated rural development and nature conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
By extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable resources.
The gold that's coming out from the ground is actually protecting the wildlife that's walking on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the others.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500 gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Etendeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side, we've got the serial number, you've got the Rand Refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world, people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood, we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcases really what the project is all about.
It's from 24-karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there like Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2Gold.
Thanks to having this literal pot of gold through the funding for the Rhino Gold Bar, we're able to step in now and make sure that those trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
We make sure that people sustain their jobs going forward. And who doesn't want gold?
And the B2Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those forms of revenue not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have. It's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like B2Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
This is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan. My children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environmental and conservation pillar is concerned. And I want to stress there that the money that's going towards environment and conservation is actually going towards the people.
Rhino is for all of us, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US. If you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely, something to experience that Namibia can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.
What's up, world? This is Shay, the goddess of the airwaves, on 99 FM, Monday to Friday, serving you breakfast on the ignition between 6 and 9. We brought you to be inspired, taking you to master your destiny. Now it's time to do the work.
Just show up.
Put on your work boots and do the time.
Make it, and then make it better.
Hello, world. It's your boy Script here on The Kingdom, where we're reminding you every single day.
Get up. You've got this. Start where you are.
Hey, this is your girl Treza on Hitsville on 99 FM, letting you know it's okay.
Try
Make mistakes.
I am Sibo, and I'm going to be with you for quite a while. Thank you so much for joining us here on Your Inspiration Station, where we let you know
There's no easy money. There's no easy job. There's no easy life.
99 FM. Do the work.